Oh, Sid, maganda to, Sid. So what's the best way to get out of your comfort zone? You know you have to, you know you can, but maybe you don't want to hurt people or hurt yourself or hurt myself. Kasi getting out of my comfort zone might involve people getting hurt, not intentionally though.
Okay. Sid, do you have anything you'd like to start with?
Well, getting hurt happens, no? So it's a natural way of growing, whether physically, emotionally. Yeah. But I think but doing it intentionally is another thing. No? So it's really like that. When we want to grow, we have to get out of our comfort zone and get to the next level. It's always hard, no? Especially when we want to transform. The transformation itself, the ego, letting go of our ego, that's difficult, no?
Right.
I mean, a lot of people don't want to let go of their ego, no? Letting go of our old self is that's very painful. But I know how painful that is. Kaya napakalaga ng friends, ng support, ng family to help you go through it. When you're changing, the dynamics change also around you. So some people also get hurt, no? But others like the idea of you changing for the better. So sa loob ng family, for example, you wanna from treating kids from toddlers to becoming, young adults, for example, there has to be a change in the way you converse. Yeah, right. Diba? Right. So that's painful. When in the office, when your friends, and then all of a sudden your colleagues, and then you're the boss, because you need to be the leader, you have to be stern at the same time, kind, no? But that hurts too. You need to be strategic. That hurts too, kasi now people get upset because of the intellectual conversations that you go through and the challenges that you have to force people to go through. No, you stretch the time and the resource that they're using so that you can achieve bigger exponential results. You're creating pain, but be mindful that you're also creating a better future. And I think that's why it's very important that the desired results, the intent, and the value that you're trying to create are clear. No? And the support that you need to do to create in terms of the doctor crap or with agreements are also very clear. No?
I think, Lippy, is there anything you'd like to add?
The impact of Sid of your sharing on me is that if I'll relate it to the question, that there's no one best way to get out of your comfort zone. In fact, the energy I'm getting from what you shared, Sydney, apart from knowing what you need to know, the structures, you gotta name it, your desired result, it's start any way you can to get out of comfort zone or to try something new. Like start no matter how small, because eventually that snowballs into bigger and bigger change. And that's something that has worked for me and my coaches sometimes to think about, right? How change is more like especially change in your life or personal habits, right? Or ways of thinking. That change is more like a snowball rolling down a hill rather than trying to break a tree or like a thunderbolt. It doesn't happen all at once, but once it gets enough momentum, it just keeps going and going and going.
True. If I may add also, in just going back to the question, how do you what is the best way to get out of your comfort zone? When I was listening to you read this question, Lippy, the image I had in my head was one of a roller coaster ride. And I think most of us have that experience where when the roller coaster is going up and we have this tak, 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 tak. Aside from the professional thrill seekers, so to speak, I think there are many of us who play this story in our heads of why on earth am I here again? Why am I not down there? And why did I let this person beside me drag me into this roller coaster? But and yet the reality, I think, is for many people I know, and I admittedly myself, after the ride, there is that small voice at the back of our heads that actually secretly says, let's do it again. I don't want to get out of this. I don't want to get out of this seat. And I think, just to relate it to the question, I think the way I'd bring it back to the question is if we could treat getting out of our comfort zones the same way. Understand that there will be discomfort. There will be those moments where we say, why am I here again? Why am I even trying this again? And there will be thrills. Yes, there will be mistakes, as many gurus and experts like saying. Even Simon Sinek says, if you want to innovate, if you want to learn new things, if you want to improve, accept that there will be mistakes. Accept that you will not get things right. But I think one of the things for me that at least has worked is when you aim to get out of your comfort zone, don't go for moonshots every single time. Yes, there are times where moonshots will work, but if I think if what you do is aim to do just a little bit beyond what you feel is realistic right now, then it makes it attainable and it gives you the sense that kaya to, versus let's say you aiming for the moon and you feel like you're only here right now. You might start out feeling overwhelmed and not even get that motor running. On the other hand, if this is your curve, so to speak, and you sort of aim for here, just above that curve, and it ticks up a little bit, and whether you hit it or not, you get the thrill of a small win, you get the thrill of taking one step higher than you're used to, then I think it allows you, or at least this is what it's allowed me, it allows you to feel that kaya naman pala eh. There are thrills, there are wins to be taken along the way. Going back to what Sydney mentioned about public speaking. Whenever I say this, when I facilitate, when I speak, whenever I tell people I'm an introvert and I was terribly shy when I was much younger, many of them just shake their heads and laugh and pretty much say BS. But, it started by me giving it a shot and saying, I was really scared the first time I spoke in front of my class, but then I realized I enjoyed it. And I still get nervous when I speak in front of an audience nowadays. But what gets me going is the understanding that at the end of the day, I will tell myself, you know what, I enjoy it. I get a thrill out of it. I get fulfillment out of it. I enjoy seeing that I'm able to connect with people. So it's a specific example from my life. But to me, I think that's my story of getting out of my comfort zone. Because my comfort zone would have been sitting at the back of the classroom and never raising my hand, never saying, I want to speak. But of course, if I did that, I wouldn't be here on screen with you guys, and I wouldn't be enjoying this right now.
Sydney would not have heard of you being the honor student.
Maybe still the honor student, because honor students can sit at the back of the classroom.
I'm wrong. I stand corrected.
But in this process of getting out of your comfort zone, you need to understand why you're getting out of the comfort zone.
That's true. Yeah.
So it has to be clear. The picture has to be clear of what you're trying to achieve. In this case, what's your Mount Everest? No. So do you really want that? No. Because if you do, then go for the win-win and get the support that you need. If not, no, you stay where you are. Maybe you're happy where you are, right? So be clear about that. No? In fact, in habit 2 and habit 3, that's being taught, no? Yung beginning with the end in mind. And then yung first things first. Kasi those are first things first. You taught about what's your governing value, then what does it look like in terms of goals, di ba? And then you plan and act. No? Pero more importantly, it's the habit 7. Yung habit 7 kasi, it gives you the strength to get through the struggle.
Yes.
Yeah, kasi yung burning the fire within. So ibig sabihin, you need to take care of for example, physical. You have to do your exercise because it makes you stronger. Not just physically, but also your grit, your determination to get through tougher things in life. It helps you there. The spiritual, your faith makes you stronger too, because you know that somebody else up there is going to help you. No, and there's an invisible hand that will always help you. No, and of course your mental health. No, I mean your mental acumen. You have to make sure that you have the right tools in terms of knowledge and skills to get there.
Yeah. I think if I may share one more thing. Just a few days ago, I did a session on trust, and I mentioned how trusting really is all about looking at and seeing the possibilities in other people rather than focusing on the might nots or the possible disappointments. And I think this question, I think, of going out of one's comfort zone goes back to perhaps trusting ourselves. And again, reframing it so that yes, there is that possibility, there is that potential for failure. And I think for many of us, maybe the fear is coming from having failed or having been hurt in the past. But I think if we reframe and we look at, okay, yes, I might fail, but what are the possibilities? What if I don't? What if I do it right? What if I manage to get it right? Or what if someone helps me get it right this time? And I think one of the things we realize is that the possibilities very often will far outweigh the possible disappointments, the possible fears or consequences. Just to go back to the last point in the question, it might involve people getting hurt, not intentionally though. And I think, yes, there is that possibility that people will get hurt, that they'll be disappointed. But I think if they know what we're trying to do, if at least the people who are important to us, the ones that matter most in our lives, if they understand what we're trying to do, I think that they will support us far more than they're likely to bring us down or wait for that disappointment and focus on that hurt.
Pao, yes. Paano kung wala ka namang end in mind? Feeling mo lang it might be better.
Well, then maybe the question would be, what made you think about the possibility in the first place? The might be better. Maybe that would bring you to an end in mind. Baka hindi lang malinaw yung end in mind. But if you ask the question, okay, bakit ko siya naisip in the first place?
But why are you wanting to get out of your comfort zone anyway, right?
Yeah.
Why is it important to you, right?
Yes. Yeah. And maybe it's, sometimes I think how do you call it? I think the challenge or the difficulty of Sydney has brought up the habit 2 or begin with the end in mind in the mission statement a number of times. I think sometimes the difficulty of habit 2 is it feels so big. Parang ang bigat niyan dali na wow, gagawa ko ng mission. I'm gonna make my mission statement today.
This is my life. Parang
yes.
Ganun, di ba?
And it becomes scary, I think, if you really take it to heart, di ba? But I think if we think about it in smaller chunks, like I like the exercises we do where we think about what do we want people to say about us? What are our strengths? What are the things that have inspired us in the past? What are the biggest contributions we think we've made? Then I think it makes it a bit more manageable. And then it makes it also a lot less scary to go for those little changes that will bring us growth, I think.
Nice.